This is the first, when I think of soup and sandwich, this is the first combo that I think of.
Yeah, first and last.
Pretty much, actually.
What's up, guys? It's Kat and Dev from Two Market Girls. Welcome back to another vegan recipe and the beginning of Catherine's favorite time.
It's soup season!
That's right. It's our first soup of the season and Catherine couldn't be happier and I feel just okay.
At least soups are delicious, Devin. It's not like I like something that's not delicious.
Okay, I guess that's a really interesting point to raise.
But also, like, I waited until October. I didn't want to wait till October, but I did that for you.
You're such a good friend, and I really appreciate you for that. Thank you. So, what kind of soup?
Starting out soup season with a classic, a creamy tomato soup. It's so good.
And like you said, it is a classic. I gotta say, it's one of my favorites because it's just so simple and it goes so well with grilled cheese. Like, what more do you need?
It's so comforting. It's so comforting. It's so simple. It's really easy to make too. And like, it's like the perfect lunch combo, like a soup and grilled cheese. Like, it's the best. It's the ultimate soup and sandwich combo.
It is. It is. It puts all other soup and sandwich combos to shame. All right, before we get into this recipe, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future vegan recipes, including, I'm sure, very many more soups.
More soups on the calendar.
And whatever Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. And without further ado, the moment Catherine's been waiting for, let's make some soup.
Yes! Okay, to make your creamy tomato soup, first gonna start off by adding some vegan butter to a pot over medium heat. Once that butter has melted, we're gonna add in some sliced shallots and cook those for about 3 to 5 minutes or until the shallots are nice and translucent. Once you get the shallots to the right consistency, you're gonna add in some minced garlic and cook that for just another minute or so. Then we're gonna stir in some San Marzano tomatoes, dried oregano, fresh basil, veggie broth, and a little bit of maple syrup, and we're just gonna stir that in until it's all combined. Then we're gonna turn up the heat to high, bring it to a boil, and once it's boiling, we're gonna reduce that heat to medium-low and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once it's done simmering, you're gonna turn off the heat, and either using an immersion blender or a high-speed blender, you're gonna blend your soup until smooth. So we blended ours with an immersion blender at first, just to kind of get it all going, and then I added it to a high-speed blender in order to get it nice and smooth. If you don't care about having kind of a little texture to it, you can just use the immersion blender if you'd like. Or you can just straight up add the whole thing straight to the blender without doing the immersion blender. When blending it though, make sure you give it a little bit of ventilation on the top, so make sure there is some place for steam to escape. Because this is a hot soup, you're going to risk exploding soup all over your kitchen and ceiling if you don't let the steam escape somewhere. Once your soup is nice and smooth, we're gonna add it back to our pot, stir in some coconut milk, give it a taste, and then season with some salt and pepper to your taste. Remember to taste all the way through to make sure you get it exactly the way you want it. And we're just serving this with some grilled cheese, maybe some croutons if you want to, and a drizzle of extra coconut milk for garnish. All right. Oh my God, your little bowl is so cute with the handle.
Thank you. It's just basically a giant mug.
Okay. Ready to try? Have you tried it yet?
Just when I was cooking it, I was just tasting it.
You did some tastes?
Yeah.
All right. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm glad. And this is obviously way better than what you'd get out of the can.
It is, and it's actually really easy to make. Like, I didn't really, like, I've always been someone that, like growing up, I always had just soups in cans, or that cabbage soup that we made a while ago. That's the only soup we really made homemade that much. But, like, soups are so easy to make. Yeah. And this is, like, technically, technically can be a one-pot meal if you do it with an immersion blender and don't blend it with a blender.
Yeah. And even then, throwing it in a blender and those are the only dishes, that's still pretty good. And you know what else? Because we can make whatever rules we want. I could say this is meal prep too, because you can make a big batch of soup and then freeze a bunch of soup and then that's meal prep.
It's definitely meal prep. Soup is such a good meal prep because soup freezes really well too. So Devin, you didn't use coconut milk like I did for the recipe. What did you use?
I used, the company is Earth's Own, at least that's what it's called in Canada. And they have this new culinary edition of their oat milk and it's like an oat cream. So like a cooking cream. So I used some of that. Tastes really good, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I really like it with coconut milk because you kind of get that hint of like coconutty flavor. But if that's not your thing, try something like what Devin did.
I'm getting more into coconut flavor, but I don't know that I would want that in my tomato soup. And I just wanted to see what this stuff would be like in this because it's new. And so I'm using it for whatever I can.
Yes. So yeah, what do you want to talk about in the comments today, Dev? Soup and sandwich combos?
Yeah, I feel like it's your first soup of the season. You just kind of want to celebrate soup. Can we all just like help Catherine celebrate the beginning of her favorite season and talk about soup and how great it is?
Soup, if there's soup puns, soup compliments, soup anything, soup ideas, all things soup.
All things soup in the comments in honor of Catherine. We're supporting her love of soup because she's a really good friend to me, so I want to be a really good friend to her, so...
That makes me so happy. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just asking other people to talk about soup, so I don't have to.
Devin, I expect to see a soup comment from you as well.
Yes. My thoughts will be in the comments below. And as usual, the recipe will be linked in the description box below. You can give it a try. There's also a link to our podcast. It's called Camera Eats First. It comes out every Monday, everywhere that you get podcasts. We talk about veganism, we talk about how we make our recipes, how we run our blog, and we keep you up to date on trending news topics in the vegan world. There's also a link to our Patreon community. Our patrons are a lovely group of people that help support the work that we do, and in exchange, we give them some bonus content. So if you're able to support us, we really appreciate that. But if not, that's okay. Give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and send it to somebody else who loves soup or should love soup. And this is a good place to start.
So everybody.
Send it to them.
Send it to everybody.
That's what Catherine wants. More soup. Just send it around.
Yeah.
Soup for all.
Spread soup, not hate. I think that whole time you were talking, I was just staring at my soup.
Just having a moment with your soup. You've waited a long time for this. I understand.
It's so good. I've almost finished a whole bowl already. So I remember like I would watch people put like croutons on their soup, and usually it's like a small handful and that's about it. Like anytime, like once the last crouton has left my soup, I add more croutons into my soup. Like you just keep adding the croutons.
I understand.
Like I just don't understand the people who put in like a small handful of croutons and that's it for the whole bowl.
What are we doing limiting our crouton intake? I don't think so. Not here for that.